What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode number 7 of the War Room podcast. My name is Rob, and this is my pal, the 4-0, Andy. How you
Hey,
doing,
Rob.
sir?
I'm good, Rob. How are you?
Oh, basking in the glory of having a quarterback that can't hold on to the football and, you know, just falling in love with defense all over again when it's 3rd and 2 and you decide to send 6 guys after the quarterback and play your cornerbacks 10 yards off. It's a beautiful thing. It really is. It's a great day, and I am so proud of you. I really am. You deserve all the best.
I was actually at Home Goods picking out drapes and stuff, so I didn't even watch the game. So I would love to hear a little bit more about what you have to say about my Buffalo Bills. It would be great.
No.
All right, fair enough. But hey, I mean, the game was a lot closer. I expected us to lose based upon how nobody wanted to punt the ball. We didn't want to have our punters come out at all during the beginning of the game, the first couple, or I think it was the first half almost, basically. But I was super nervous. I thought the Bills' offensive game plan was exactly what we needed to do. But I was scared that we couldn't stop you guys, and I was a little concerned, and I didn't understand why you guys didn't run the ball more. But hey, at the end of the day, we got the W. We have a lot of question marks. Even more question marks coming this week. Hopefully we don't have a COVID outbreak on our side. I just saw one of the Raiders players get announced that he is on the COVID list. Don't know if he has it or if he was just associated with somebody with it. But we have a big game coming up against Tennessee, which Tennessee's limping into the season, or limping into the game, actually, this coming week. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But it was a good win.
Yeah, you guys look very, very good. Josh Allen looks like a completely different quarterback. He looks fantastic. I like I said to you too, I'm actually kind of proud of the Raiders themselves, because I know every team has the injury bug, but I mean, we're so down the list of our depth chart at this point. And starting Zay Jones and Nelson Aguilar, it was just for them to even be in the game was cool. It's just. And I'm starting to believe, and I think I said this a couple weeks ago, that Gruden is on the list of coaches that would rather lose his way than adapt and win on someone else's way, essentially. I'm a fat ass sitting on my couch, and I can sit there and see, okay, 3rd and 1. Okay, we're in strong formation. It's going to be a fullback dive. Everyone knows it's coming, and that's what they do. And the Bills stop it. 4th and 1, okay, we're in single back formation with Jacobs. Okay, our right tackle's been getting beat pretty bad. Our left guard's been getting beat pretty bad. Obviously, we're running behind Gabe Jackson. That's exactly what they do, and Ed Oliver just blows up Gabe Jackson, and that was pretty much the game at that point. If I'm knowing this, if I'm able to realize this from my couch, I'm pretty sure that a professional defensive coordinator is going to be able to figure that out, and that just bothers me. It really does.
It was definitely tough to see. I mean, the one positive note on your end, like you talked about, I mean, Zay Jones, I don't think he's very good. I won't talk positive about him, but Nelson Aguilar, man, he's been playing well for you guys all season, and if he can keep it up, I mean, you got him on a 1-year prove-it deal. Granted, you're probably not going to keep him. You have a ton of stud wide receivers. He's just not going to fit in the room once you get everybody back healthy. But he's really proving himself that he's a good receiver. He was getting open. He was getting separation. He was getting behind our zone scheme. Granted, we were getting fooled, and our linebacking core is basically becoming injured and clueless. Which, I mean, that one play that you guys ran, I don't remember what it was, but Waller came over on the left side of the line, and he caught the ball in the flat wide open. And if he had any ounce of speed, he would have been gone. But we were able to track him down. It was just a beautiful play, beautiful formation. But yeah, I mean, it was an interesting game.
You can definitely tell that Waller's playing hurt. You can speed was not a lot of acceleration there, but let's talk about some of the other games, man. I know last night one thing I wanted to talk about is Aaron Rodgers.
Can we, before we talk about Aaron Rodgers, can we talk about how great it was that it was a 7:00 game last night?
Oh, dude, that was incredible.
I know we sound like two old men on a porch right now, but I will be that old man till I die. If you can NFL change your game times from 8:20, which I consider that basically 11:20 at night in my book, up, I would the ratings would go through the roof. But I digress. Go ahead. I just had to get that off my chest.
Here's the thing, though. I don't know that it would, because that's now 4:00 on the West Coast. You know what I mean? So that's where it's. Dude, I agree with you. Believe me, I'd much rather have a 7:00 game, but I get why it's where it is.
I know, but God, that was so great.
It was. It really was.
No, Aaron Rodgers, you were saying?
He just I don't know. I don't know if it's something like, I understand too, and I saw his comments before about the down year for him is a career year for most quarterbacks, and he's right. I don't know if, last year what happened there, but man, he looks fantastic.
And he's funnier than hell right now. For the fact of the matter that he's having a blast. He turned around and flexed to the sky cam at one point during the game. Like,
he's having a blast.
He's killing it, and it's also a big middle finger to Green Bay, the organization. Basically saying, you're not going to help me, man. I'll go out here and do it myself. Yep. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back after this year, depending upon how things roll, and ask for more money or demand something and be willing to sit out. I mean, he's got that chip on his shoulder where he's been pissed. You're drafting my replacement. You're not helping me out and getting me more skill position players. I'm going to have a MVP type year. Pay me. Prove that I'm the guy, or do X, Y, and Z that I want. Bring the guys in that I want, and let's roll from there. So it's hilarious.
So that was the opinion that I had when the draft happened, as I'm pretty sure I actually said on this podcast. But I kind of got thinking about it. Is it possible that they didn't need the weapons? Maybe that wasn't the position of need in their opinion. I mean, they're not having a problem. They're rolling through everybody. I mean, maybe to them, I mean, I still can't explain, going quarterback in round one, but at the same time, maybe they didn't feel they needed those guys. And they're kind of right?
Yeah.
Is that wrong?
No, that's a fair assessment. I mean, they're not really using their draft picks their first and their third round pick aren't really playing. I don't know who they get in the second round. Did they have a second round pick, or did they get rid of it? Like I haven't really been that deep into it, but still, I mean, to your point, they're using the guys that they have in house. Some of them were undrafted studs, and they're rolling with it. I mean, Adams isn't even playing right now. That's crazy to see. Like, it just makes no sense.
When did they draft your boy Dylan?
Dylan was third round, I think.
Was it?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. We should probably look that up at some point. That's bad work on us.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, their leading receiver for this past week was the tight end,
Tanyan, dude,
undrafted out of Indiana State.
That's right.
Like, legitimately, you're not going to find this many diamonds in the rough. But at the same point, maybe they are. But this is the scary part to me as well, is Aaron Rodgers is so freaking good.
Yeah.
If these players go to other teams, are they still going to be good? And that only time will tell. But right now, we can't take anything away from the Green Bay Packers in the way in which they're playing. It's phenomenal. I hope they go up against – I mean, people can make the same statement that they make against the Bills that they do against the Green Bay Packers. And I'm not comparing them in any way, shape, or form, but they haven't played anybody yet, as what people will say. At the end of the day, these are pros. If you line up and you play the game, great. And right now, Green Bay Packer fans haven't had to be nervous in any particular game. You're just you're just watching football and having a blast. So I'm jealous.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But,
what's one you want to talk about?
Should we talk about the beef? Should we talk about like Jersey Shore type beef? Do you want to talk about the Giants and the Rams?
I mean,
did you see what happened?
It's funny though. Like,
is the story true?
I'm told yes.
For those of you that don't know the story, and Rob, correct me if I'm wrong, is it Ramsey was dating Tate's sister, or mom. I don't know.
Sister.
Okay, it would have been funnier if it was his mom. But
A little Delonte West action.
oh, R.I.P. Who's in rehab now? Good for him. But like that's the case, and Ramsey laid a lick on Tate. So at the end of the game, Tate, I guess, is pissed and throws a punch at Ramsey in the middle of all. I don't know. All I know is there's going to be a whole crap ton of fines. But it just made me laugh. I mean, the Giants were actually in the game, so to say. But the Giants are a mess, man. I'm super excited to see what's going to happen at the top of the draft this year. I know you and I are deep in the weeds with the younger players and the ones that are going to go undrafted in the late rounders, but the amount of implications that are going to happen at the front end of the draft, depending upon which teams fall with good quarterbacks, the Jets could have the number one pick.
Something else to keep in mind that I feel like Schefter tweeted something, but aside from that, nobody's really talking about it. With O'Brien getting fired, you have to remember the Dolphins have their first and second round pick this year. So the Texans are 0-4. They are now making a coaching change a quarter of the way through the year.
Yep. That
could very well be a top 5. That will be a top 5 pick probably for the Dolphins that they're going to get out of that. Oh, yeah. Imagine. I know it won't happen because Deshaun Watson won't let this happen. Imagine they wind up with the worst record in the league.
Whoa.
And the Dolphins, like that is that would be incredible.
That would not be incredible for my sanity.
Okay, well, take the Homer hat off for a minute. Like, think about it.
That would be insane. If I was the GM of the Dolphins, I would be a kid in the candy store. Because if you have your quarterback of the future in Tua, you have that top pick or picks, you could make it a complete arsenal. You could either trade away everything so that someone can come up and draft one of those quarterbacks, or you stay put and draft the best player on the board. It would be insane. I would have a blast.
What would you do? Let's say this.
I can't answer that.
Let's say this, okay? We're talking, what would it have to be? 3 1s and 2 2s to get to that pick? RG3 style, a little bit more?
Yes, probably.
For Trevor Lawrence, I think he's at this point more hyped up than Luck was. He's at this point, I think, the most hyped up prospect I've seen. Yep. So would you do 3 1s and 2 2s for Lawrence, or 2 1s and 1 2 for Tua, and you get Trevor Lawrence?
I would absolutely do that second route, 100%. Especially right now, I'd say, but this is me saying it without seeing Tua play it down in the NFL. I'm very skeptical that Tua is going to play, and I don't think he'll be able to play to the caliber in which he did at Alabama. I'm worried about the hip. He's been on the injury reports again recently. Basically, they're saying, we're just being cautious. If he says he's sore, we're going to put him on there. Still not – I mean, I don't remember whose career it ended, but this hip injury is no joke. Like, it's not many people bounce back from it and play a position where you're a bullseye. I mean, everyone on a football field has a bullseye on them, but you're literally the quarterback who touches the ball every play on offense. You're going to get hit. I don't trust that. And if I could trade away his value, and it goes back to what we've mentioned on this podcast before, like the Sam Darnold effect. I would, if I'm the Jets right now, Sam Darnold's shoulder, see ya. I don't care if you got a cut on it or you're hurt because you got a flu shot. Like, bench him, keep his value high, tank the season, and trade him away.
It's easy to say that, but at the same time, if you're making that decision, you're getting fired.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So it's easy for us to say it, and I agree with you. But I'm only doing that if I'm told from the owner you're safe.
Yeah. No, for sure. And Adam Gase, I mean, we talked about this earlier. Raise your hand, and, of course, if you're listening, you won't see if we do. But did you believe that the Texans was going to be the first open head coaching job?
I didn't, and here's why. After what O'Brien did this offseason and trading away who's arguably the best receiver in the game for pretty much nothing. I mean, okay, he got a 2 in David Johnson.
We can say nothing.
Okay. Why do this now? Like, what I would think, because obviously you're on a short leash, I would block the trade then and said, no, you can't do that. If he was on that short of a leash, why would you allow him to do that?
It made no sense from multiple standpoints, from the extending the deal of Deshaun Watson, the trade, like you said, he's the coach and the GM. So he was the one putting together all the logistics for Deshaun, everything and anything. And if you were just going to fire him, you wouldn't have signed Deshaun to his deal, because whatever the new coach comes in and wants to do, that's what's going to happen. I'm not saying that they would move on from Deshaun because he's a top tier quarterback, but at the same time, you have to allow the new coach to come in and see if they mesh. And also Deshaun has to figure out if he wants to mesh. It could be a whole scenario where the new coach comes in and he's just like, man, I don't want to be here.
To be honest, I think Deshaun has right now, after what happened, probably the cushiest deal in the NFL, because he is literally the sales piece. He's the reason why someone would want to coach that team, because like I said before, they don't have a 1, they don't have a 2. You know, they have a couple really bad contracts in David Johnson, Brandon Cooks. You know, the reason you want to coach that team is for Deshaun Watson. So, man, if I'm the Texans, dude, honestly, I'm almost letting Deshaun pick who the coach is at this point, because he's the only reason why they're going to want to coach there in the first place.
And you know who the top candidate is for that job.
Adam Gase.
Besides him, that's a given.
That's
right.
I would think, and I know this always sparks controversy, but man, I would think Bieniemy is perfect for that.
That's 100% accurate. I mean, it's a great scenario to fall into. If he wants a time to go and can prove that he can do what he can do as an offensive mind outside of Andy Reid, what better scenario to do it there? He's going to need to hire a stud defensive coordinator for sure, and they're going to need to make wholesale changes on that defensive line. One, in my mind, includes Watt. And the reason why I say Watt is because you can still get draft capital for him now and basically mold it any way possible. I know it's not going to be popular in Houston, but that defense is trash. And it doesn't matter how good your offense is, but if your defense can't stop anybody, it's not going to work. But
agreed, 100%. I honestly didn't think he was going to be the first one out, though. I really didn't.
No.
And I want to be heard too. I don't think that O'Brien's a bad coach at all. I think the downfall was giving him that GM title and giving him all that power. To be honest, like if you look at his record, man, he's on two straight winning seasons. I think it is. He's had multiple double digits, double win seasons. Like he's very good.
Another person that I could see happen is if McDaniels leaves this year, O'Brien's going to be the offensive coordinator of the New England Patriots. If he doesn't take a college coaching gig, he's going to absolutely take that job over with New England.
Absolutely, 100%. And just so you know, too, Watt, if they release him next year, they save $17.5 million, and there's no dead cap.
I mean, if they could get a trade partner out of it for a third or a fifth or third and fifth or whatever it may be, I love Watt. He's done nothing but great things for that community. He's loved in that community. The defense just needs help. If you're going to let Clowney get away and you're going to trade away Clowney, and they're just a mess. They can't stop anybody on the back end. They're a great pass rushing team when you're in 3rd and 22, but
when healthy. They
have a great pass rushing team in 3rd and 22.
Yeah,
they have an undersized linebacker, which you and I talked about before. We love the undersized linebacker that can fly around, but they're never healthy.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see. But the last game that I saw that was appealing to me, that I was laughing at, but also sad at the same time, is I didn't pay enough attention to Carolina. Did you see what happened in that game? Like, how did Arizona just come out flat and just not even show up?
So I'll pat myself on the back again. You know, I do that a lot, don't I?
It must be tiresome.
Well, I do love me some me, but Brian Burns, dude. My God, Jesus. You see the moves that he put on that right tackle, dude? Jesus Christ.
I thought you were going to give yourself a pat on the back for somebody else. Probably the greatest defensive player that they have on their team, and he's a rookie.
Jeremy Chin?
He's filthy.
Oh, dude. That wasn't just that. Yeah, I mean, you kind of saw that coming. To be honest, I was iffy the whole time between him and Duggar because they were kind of the two comparisons, you know what I mean? Man, he is really good. Chin is really good. And people don't realize how difficult it is to go from a small school to the bigs like this and play at that level, bro, that ain't easy.
I mean,
That is not easy.
Their team is playing well. I mean, it's going to be time before they actually can tell if they're going to be. I mean, Robbie Anderson, he should send frickin' Adam Gase just a gift basket and just say thank you for letting him leave, and not re-signing him. Just like, thank you guys for not giving me a ton of money. Thank you guys for not allowing me to be a Jet, because he's looking like a legit receiving threat. I mean, he was always good with the Jets and whatnot, but man, Carolina put a hurting on him, and it shut up a lot of people about Arizona, where Arizona was legit and Arizona's the team to beat. And I mean, Carolina came in there and just dominated the game.
Anderson, I've liked him for a long time. People always classified him as a strict deep threat because of his speed, and that's not fair. It's honestly pretty lazy, dude. Right. He has some Shakira going on with his hips, bro. He can move like he's fluid, man. I've liked him for a long time. He's turning into a very good route runner, reliable hands, but at the same time, that speed, dude, that speed is legit. I like him a lot, and honestly, they have a sneaky good three. You know, DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, like they have some guys there, and then you have McCaffrey when he's healthy. I know he's not out there now, but like, man, that quarterback has some weapons. If you can solidify that offensive line.
Their defensive line is scary. I mean, they have two solid – I mean, if Gross Matos can continue to produce like he has been this early on, I was never a big fan of him. But he got a sack this game, and he's actually playing good defense. I mean, if you have two ends that can play like they can play, you have a young corner in – who is it, Deontay Jackson, the LSU product, who is someone that was classified as he's just fast, he can't play defense. He's a shutdown corner, and he's playing phenomenal there. I mean, they got the pieces. They got the pieces in place, and they could be something. They could be something special there. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, they're not in a good spot right now. They should win again this week because they face the Falcons. But I don't know. We'll see.
They don't have to be though. You know, rules on a 7-year deal. It's year one. He's known for everywhere he's been, man. Temple, Baylor. Year one was always horrible because he stripped it down and did it his way. This year he's not doing that, man. You know, he's in a good spot, a very good spot. And also that K'Wan Short too is outstanding at T-tackle. And did you see that move Derek Brown put on what was it? Can't think of the center's name. And they have some pieces.
See, I didn't even count him into the factor. I mean, their defense could be scary good. So it'll be only time will tell. But I mean, moving on.
I kind of wish Kuechly didn't retire, to be honest. It would have been fun to see him with these guys. I think he would have helped them out a lot too. I get why he did, and I respect the hell out of the guy.
Yeah.
That would have been fun.
Now, but moving on to this week, talking a little bit about this week. What games tickle your fancy? What games something that you want to watch? I mean, of course, like we said, I'm going to be watching the Bills and whatever the Titans put out on the field to beat us with. You're going to be watching the Raiders and the Chiefs game. But maybe. I have a game.
Maybe.
Yes. I got a game that's popping off the page to me because I think, and I'm praying and I'm hoping it's going to be an upset. I won't pick it, but I have just a gut feeling. And do you want to try to take a guess of who it's going to be? Of who I think? 5.
Chargers over the Saints.
3. Nope. 2. 1. Bengals. Bengals over the Ravens. I don't know why.
Me neither.
Joe Burrow he just looks comfortable, man. And the things that he says in his press conferences and stuff, I just love him. They asked him what he's going to do with the game ball. And he's like, I put it back in the bag. And they're like, what do you mean? He's like, I put it back in like the practice ball bags. Like, it's just a football. I don't care. It's like, dude, you're great. I'm like, awesome. He's one of those memes where like you see those sunglasses slide up on the person's face with the cigarette pop into his mouth. That's him. I think that the way that Mixon's running the ball right now and catching the ball out of the backfield, I think that's great. AJ Green's always a threat. T. Higgins is playing well, which is scary because he can't run worth a darn. It's
Darn.
interesting. I'm
You just said darn.
I said darn. But either way, I don't know.
We're all men here.
I don't think that I think the Bengals could sneak up on them. And I hope that's the coming out party, but that's my game.
A team, that's fun to watch for me is Cleveland right now. They're just ego central. I mean, the egos on that team are unbelievable, but they're actually playing pretty good on offense. Myles Garrett is an absolute stud too on the defensive line, but they have a legit chance to start off 4-1 here.
They're a train wreck waiting to happen. Like you said, it's so many egos on that team. They almost lost.
Yeah.
I felt like the Cowboys were going to come back and win. Granted, I'm happy anytime the Cowboys lose because I can't stand them. But, yeah, I mean, that's definitely it's interesting to see what's going to happen with Baker. If Baker continues to improve week to week, but who knows?
Dallas's defense, man. My God.
For the amount of players that they have and with your boy on the defensive end, I don't understand them.
He's been borderline perfect, to be honest. Even on that last touchdown by ODB,
he's a little slow off the blocks, but it's to be expected right now.
So he couldn't get to Beckham, but he still had him widen out his frame, basically saying to his teammates, "Hey, somebody make a play on this guy." I kind of rerouted him a little bit on the run. He totally widened out his frame. He went to the sideline, and still no one got to him.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be interesting. What the Redskins go up against the Rams? We don't know who the Redskins – excuse me, my apologies. The Washington football team. We don't know who the Washington football team is going to have at quarterback. He's on a short leash. They're saying Kyle Allen's the backup, which is fine. That'll be an interesting team. That'll be interesting to see how that plays out because Riverboat Ron is a new coach, year one there. So if Haskins ends up getting benched, you can't go back to him next year. I don't care what people saying. They could say, "Oh, well, you know what? You got to give him time. He's a young – no, you're basically going to destroy his head. They could be in the runnings for a top quarterback. So that'll be interesting to see from that end.
Here's a question for you. Is Terry McLaurin a top 10 receiver?
He's got one of the top 10 nicknames.
Okay, fine. But, is he a top 10 receiver?
No.
He's pretty damn good, no?
He's pretty damn good, but name me their other receivers.
I get what you're saying, but, that could
That's it.
help and hurt him.
You get a young quarterback who falls in love with the receiver. Don't get me wrong. I think he's fantastic. I think he's a Robbie Anderson type. I think he's on that tier. I don't think he's a top 10. I think he's top 30. I think he's in there.
Top 30. Stop. Come on.
I'm not saying he could be more towards the top end of the top 30, but I don't think he's top 10. No way.
That's fair. I mean, that's fair. I'm kind of asking, but top 30 is ludicrous.
Yeah. But at this point, I know we've been doing this for 2 weeks in a row. What should be my survivor pick of the week? I got one that I'm feeling. One that I'm feeling in my gut is Arizona against the Jets.
Well, yeah.
Because I might just go the route of picking anybody that plays the Jets.
Especially after the game they played last week.
That was bad.
Yeah, I think they're going to beat the hell out of them, to be honest with you.
I just feel like that's a safe route for me because I already have one loss, and I will continue to blame the Colts because they should have won their first game of the season. But
I mean, if you're so confident, why don't you just go with the Bengals?
Don't toy with me like that. Do not toy with me like that.
Put them on the table, big fella.
No shot. I'll wait till later in the year when I can actually see these teams play. But no, I think I'm going to go Arizona with that. I mean, hopefully if we can continue to see these teams play, that's the biggest thing right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I know we got a couple minutes left if we want to touch on what's going on with COVID. I know it's the key word of the year, key word of the day, but I'll just say that I'm disappointed in the NFL for the standpoint of, you and I have talked about it, where the NFL made rules to kind of do what Major League Baseball is doing, but not so much. I get that Major League Baseball has a separate site from where their professional MLB players are playing. They had their satellite site, so to say, where all the players were staying safe, and you could call them up when somebody tested positive for COVID. But if you're testing people every single day for COVID, you increase your practice squad from, 10 to 16, and you have a bunch of people test positive, you should flip it. The people that test positive go into quarantine, and the people on your practice squad that are healthy, you come up and play. That's not the case. The NFL was making statements depending upon, and I'm not going to play a I hate anybody card, but early on in the year, the Atlanta Falcons, their corner tested positive for COVID. He got quarantined. They still played the game. A team this weekend, a quarterback got tested positive for COVID. They canceled the game, postponed the game to Monday, and ended up playing on Monday. The reason behind their logic was the Atlanta game was a home game, so nobody had to travel. The team, the New England Patriots, I'll just say the name, had to travel, so it was more dangerous to travel. At the end of the day, if you're doing daily tested, rapid testing, you should have the answers. You should call up your practice squad players and play the game. The Tennessee Titans should have to play the game. That's just not just because the Bills are playing them this weekend. I believe they should have played the game against the Steelers. I feel like, and now seeing the list of players that have COVID, you can replace a long snapper. You can replace a DN. You can replace all these players. It wasn't your starting quarterback. It wasn't anything that's going to set you off. That's my rant. I'll shut up and listen.
So the travel reasoning makes sense to me. I actually kind of disagree with you on that one. Just strictly because of the travel. Also, something I was wrong with, and maybe you thought this as well, because I did. Rapid testing still comes in the night of.
Yeah.
You take it in the morning, you get the results at night.
Right.
I thought rapid testing was like 15 minutes.
No.
So I understand it. And to talk a little bit about just kind of go back to a little bit more football here. If I'm Cam Newton, by the way, after watching that game yesterday, I am legit like, Billy B, pay me.
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot of money after that game last night.
Oh, yeah.
A lot. That was bad. That was really bad. To think that all of us thought that Jared Stidham was going to be the quarterback. We thought he was the guy. We really did.
I was nervous, though, because Kansas City, I expected Kansas City to blow them out. They weren't really blowing them out. So I was like, uh-oh. Is New England actually for real? Are they a good team, or is it just –
They are. No, they're a very good team. But, I just –
They're a good team, but they're not a good team without Cam.
That's fair. I think there's a lot of teams they would still beat without Cam.
Agreed. I think they'd be like a 6-10.
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you. And man, to take my Raider fan hat off for a minute, what happened with them last week was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in my entire life. Basically what happened was Darren Waller held an event for the Waller Foundation, which is a phenomenal foundation. Basically, it helps addicts turn their lives around like he did. A phenomenal story. If anyone doesn't know at this point, go read up. First off, they held it indoors and broke the capacity limit. 1. 2, did not require masks. 3, didn't test anybody at all. No security whatsoever. 4, had cameras in there. 5, had 10 players, I believe it was, in there, also without a mask.
Yep.
Now, wherever you stand with COVID, whether it's you think that it's going to you think that it's literally the plague, whether you think that it's completely politically driven and it's going to be gone November 4th, whatever you believe, the facts are not the facts. The rules are the rules, okay? Whether you want to believe them or not. When you are the quarterback of the Las Vegas Raiders and you do not wear a mask when that's the rule, you are stupid, bro. You are dog dumb. The media follows this guy. This guy is criticized more than any player on the team, bar none. He goes there and doesn't wear a mask, and then he has the audacity to say afterwards, oh, well, I don't want people to, I don't want to have people forget about what this was really about. It's a great foundation. If you didn't want people to talk about it, then put your mask on, dude.
Yep. I saw the
Whether
quote
you
that he
believe it
said
or not.
too.
Whether you believe it or not, I don't care. I'm not sitting here saying the mask is going to save your life. I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, don't wear a mask, rip it off. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
The rule is the rule. You're a moron. That
Yeah.
is stupid.
I
That
saw.
pisses me off so much because him saying that literally does take a lot away from the foundation because that foundation is outstanding. I love Darren Waller. Him. I don't know why he did what he did. Man, my God, that really pissed me off.
Please tell me you saw the quote, and I don't know if it was misquoted, and I'm not going to quote it correctly. So, but he said something. Derek Carr said something along the lines like these donors or fans or whoever they were paid money to see their faces. It's like I don't care. They can, how they can see your face when it's on TV. They can Google you. They could do that. Nobody really cares. Like, I don't go to events back when the world was spinning the correct way and be like, oh, my God, I saw this person's face. It's like, no.
Mm-hmm.
You're at an event with them. That's what you talk about. So, yeah, to your point, the rules are rules.
And you're also not supposed to be signing autographs right now either. Nope. And he's literally signing footballs and throwing them into an audience of unmasked people.
Yeah, and he had an incompletion, too, a bad one. He hit that curtain that was draped over the top.
Probably.
It's just it was supposed to be an out and up, and it just wasn't.
It wasn't his fault, though.
No. But I know we're backed up against it. We definitely went a little over this time, but we want to make sure that everybody continues to follow us on our social media channels, Twitter and Instagram at @_WarRoom33.
And everybody watching on YouTube, follow, subscribe. Anything you guys want to talk about, any questions, just comment below. But thank you guys very much. We really appreciate it. And have a great week.
Yep. Until next week.
Later.